I heard that they've come back to give you something that is yours. They've come back to give you something that is yours. My name is Solarah. I am a seer. I am a code keeper. I am a grid restorer. I am an arbiter for justice. I am a new earth being, a reinstator of timelines, so many things, a fighter for those who've been wrongfully spiritually oppressed. And like I said, most importantly, I am a new earth being. And you are welcome here in my parts, in my part of my little corner of the internet on this channel, for as long as you are also in alignment with this mission to liberate beings from all of the auspices of the false matrix and her fuckery. So I've been away from you guys for a minute. I did return to Solarah Rises a few days ago for the second new moon in Virgo. I've been taking a full moon cycle off as per my own internal guidance, doing the internal work to come back and to rise higher into my position in all of this, first within myself, of course, as well as, within the collective story. So I thank you for all of you, to all of you who have been so supportive of my rest period and my time away. I am still taking a little longer away from Solarah.xyz as I figure out next steps there, but it is good to be back on Solarah Speaks. And a shout out to the beautiful soul, my beautiful client, who gifted me with these loop earplugs, because I'm using them tonight as I record to kind of help me tune deeper into my own psychic space and to tune out stuff that goes on in the place that I presently am living. So thank you so much. I'm really enjoying them. Okay, let's get into it. Do I have any announcements before? Oh yes, of course I do. So I do have some spaces available. I just rolled out a new reading, and it's a TAROTSTROLOGY Wealth Codes activation, and I think there are like maybe 5 available still with personalized decree by me, and then there are other just one-to-one wealth code activation TAROTSTROLOGY readings. There's no limit on those, but there are only 5 left if you want to get a personalized decree from me also to further activate you into your wealth code. So that reading is a one-to-one video reading with me where we go through your personal astrology chart. We take a look at where your wealth code activations are on a personal level, what you're here to do with the collective, etc. So if you're interested in booking for that, I will start taking it's already open for you to book, but I will actually begin seeing people starting Monday, October the 29th. They've come back to give you something that is yours. Now, what's really interesting about this is that I got this download days ago. It's Wednesday the 24th. I got this on Friday. I got this a few days before the new moon in Virgo. And it's funny because I had an interesting experience occur today. So I had a dream a few weeks ago about a certain person who had been in my life years ago. I hadn't seen this person for years. At a time we were very close, and I found it so weird that she was entering my dreams, right? So it's like 2 weeks ago, and then I'm out and about today, and I'm in a shop, and I'm looking at something, and this woman comes up to me to ask me a question. I guess she just assumed that I would know about cosmetics. So she just comes up to me and she's like asking me as a fellow person, customer, whatever. And I'm like, no, I don't know anything about this, And when she approaches me, like, I catch my breath because she sounds exactly like this woman who had been in my dream a couple of weeks prior, and who I hadn't seen for a while, and who, like I said, we'd been pretty close for a minute, you know, until certain factors of betrayal became an issue for me. So anyway, I'm moseying along like, okay, false alarm, like what's going on with this today? Like I haven't seen this chick in 5 years. Like I don't even think she lives in the area anymore because she used to live locally and I literally haven't seen her since 2020. So I go out, I go to my local park, I go and ground, I go talk to my partner, etc., etc., and I'm walking home, and who do I run into? But this woman who I haven't seen in 5 years. And get this, what's really weird is that one person that connects us was in my energy a few days ago, not in my dreams. I felt him lurking in my energy, but I felt him almost like a hologram, like a holographic, like he's so far removed from being able to touch me at this point that he just wavers when he tries to come. So I found that really interesting, and so when I came home I was like, okay, it's time for me to sit down and talk about this message. They've come back to give you something that is yours, because when people come back into your reality, when they circle back around, even in seeing them for a few seconds, for a minute, an energetic exchange can take place. And right now we're going through like a really big timeline shuffle. We always, are this time of the year. We always do around the equinox and solstice gateways. But more importantly, like what bridges Virgo to Libra is the Wheel of Fortune. So the last, few days of Virgo, the first few days of Libra, it always is this Wheel of Fortune energy, this closing and starting of new cycles and chapters. So whenever you're closing and starting a new chapter or cycle, there's like a timeline shuffle. It happens a lot in Virgo energy. Full moon in Virgo is another time when we get all of this like timeline shuffling. And in timeline shuffles, sometimes you like run into beings who you haven't seen in a while. Like the way I was feeling it earlier on today, it was just like, I didn't even want to claim her as part of my new timeline. I was just like, oh, I guess she was just running through this timeline quickly to remind me of something or to bring something back to me that is mine, because there were things that were taken through the exchange that had occurred. And this was long before I knew any of this stuff. And this particular being started to show up to me a lot of the time in dreams, and I began to see and realize how she had taken my own, I don't want to say naivete, I want to say my innocence for granted when it came to dealing with certain things, especially psychic barriers. I didn't know much back then, and I let her into my psychic space, trusting her, and I do feel in many ways that she violated that. So they come back to give you something that is yours. Let's go into cards, because I do want to try and keep this reading pretty short and sweet. Oh, damn it. I thought I had my other Karmic Chronicles deck, but I guess I don't, so we go into the original. We're going to go into the original Karmic Chronicles deck for tonight. Okay? That's too many. That's too many. So they threw the rocks, hid their hands, and arrived on the scene to help and rescue. So this is a person who, likely in the past, they were around you pretending to help you in some way, shape, or form. Especially if you were going through a lot of fuck shit in your life at a certain point, and there was a person who seemed to be always there to kind of help you out of that. And you discovered later on that the reason they were always around you when the fuck shit was happening was because in some ways, even if they weren't fully orchestrating it, they were giving to its magnification in some way, shape, or form. So they threw the rocks, hid their hands, and arrived on the scene to help and rescue. These types like to incite drama in your reality to make you vulnerable, and then show up on the scene to make you feel as if you can depend on them. And ultimately, what they do to you over time is wear you down so that you become dependent upon them, and you start to lose your own confidence in yourself to be able to move in the world and do what it is you have to do. So for some of you, what could also be returning or restored through this something coming back that is yours, it could literally be your confidence. It could literally be your ability to move independently, some way that was taken from you through this exchange. We do have karmic transference rituals: death, sickness, lack, poverty. I definitely was getting that feeling with this woman when she came into my reality today. People do all manner of things to karmically transfer what is ultimately supposed to be yours, and to give you what it is that's supposed to be theirs. And you find yourself then living in subpar timelines that don't match who you are, what it is that you've put your work towards in life. You find yourself living in subpar timelines. And so there definitely, once upon a time, with this card coming out, was some kind of karmic transference ritual that was being used to transfer something to you. And indeed, like, I'm going to go back to my experience with this person. I had a whole bunch, I had one huge dream that kind of closed the door on her about a year after I'd seen her for the last time. And long before I closed that door, my guides were telling me to leave the relationship alone. And not only that, they told me to get rid of everything that that person had given me, and also to get rid of everything that I had lent to them, because we were close friends in a certain way, and like I would give them my clothes all the time. Like, they liked the way I dressed. So I would give them, and occasionally they'd give me theirs too. And so my guides told me to even get rid of the clothing. I remember burning something like that they'd worn, because that's what I was shown to do, like get rid of it entirely. And again, this whole idea of the karmic transference, I had a dream about a year after that, and I saw intently what that person was doing. And I'm going to share some details because I feel like it might help you. It might help you. So to be completely transparent with you, this person got between me and the person who I thought was, twin flame catalyst, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He initiated me into a lot of my psychic gifts, my telepathy, my connection with the tarot. It came through an activation with him. But this other being, this friend, she came through and did a lot of like manipulative, covert stuff to try to cause confusion more than anything. And I do believe it was more. She did more than that, but I never even went in to completely explore it. But I remember her showing up in a dream, and him being in that dream too. And then all of a sudden I was in her apartment, and she had this big dark green book with gold binding. And this book had all manner of, it was an ancient book, and it looked in the dream to be Atlantean. And when I found the book, it was almost like I became aware how she'd been binding me. But she hadn't been binding me just in this lifetime. This was an ongoing contract of something that had happened across many lifetimes, where she would show up in my timelines and create confusion block me from certain things, which is exactly what she did in this timeline too. But in this dream, when I found the book, all of a sudden there was this huge gorilla that exited her, like one of the rooms in her house, and I could tell that the gorilla had been like programmed and trained to go for me very specifically. And so the gorilla tries to come at me, and she puts herself in front of the gorilla. And this is where I realize in the dream some of the gifts I have, because all of a sudden I put myself in a force field, and the gorilla and her are outside of the force field, and they can't touch me. So I'm sharing that because maybe some of the details from that are going to help you in your own unraveling of what's going on in your own situation. But even having said that makes me realize that for some of you, this being that's coming to give you something back, they might be coming to give you something back from the last exchange you had with them, or something that went astray with them. Like I said, something like giving back your confidence, your access, your fucking codes, the codes they stole, your health, your abundance, the things that they transferred onto you. It's time for them to collect their shit and to give you back your stuff. And if this is the case, and there are beings who have been consciously fucking around with you through karmic transference rituals, you make sure that you give them back their shit sevenfold. You call karmic justice on them, because this stuff is not okay. But for some of you, this is an ongoing situation that you've been going through since the Atlantean timelines. And what you're getting back is not just something like as simple as what it is you've lost in the exchange in this lifetime. What you're getting back is something you haven't had access to, because they've had a hold of it, on it, for many lifetimes, possibly since the Atlantean timelines. What's at the bottom of this deck is time to get out, talk to others, and move your energy. You've stayed in hermit mode too long. For some of you, you've been in hermit mode very specifically because of the circumstances surrounding this situation, whether it's because you haven't had the finances, or you've been sick, or you've been tired. It doesn't matter. There's something that has to do very specifically with this situation that has kept you contained, and it's time for you to break yourself out of that containment, because moving that energy, breaking yourself out of the containment, doing the opposite of what it is that you couldn't do before, tuning back into the fullness of your true self-expression that's been like squashed in the time that you've been dealing with this. All of that's going to be really important for allowing your energy to come back to you, and for you to integrate it back into your fields, and quicker to send back their shit to. Okay, so we will take this. Okay, let's get one more. Okay, so this person was purposely psychically attacking you through meditation and visualization. They were doing this alone. So this is a person who would sit down and meditate and send you shit on purpose. They knew what they were doing. In some way, they have a good understanding of how energy works, maybe the law of attraction, whatever. Like, maybe that was their thing. But either way, I'm hearing also like dark feminine energy misuse. Let me say that, because dark feminine energy in and of itself is not bad. Dark feminine energy misuse are people who utilize things like sex magic, magnetism, prosperity work. They use that in ways that harm others. Using money and gifts to distract and control. Lower chakra and throat invasion. So this person liked to throw you off of their trail by being very generous to you, so that it would seem almost like there's no way that they would hurt you in any way. It was manipulation. We have, again, even as I pick up this deck, we have energy transference coming out. Okay, energy transference. So, we already had it here with karmic transference. I'm also seeing coven or secret society activity. Take it if it resonates. 22:44 on my clock. This person, in other words, altered your timeline. They altered your timeline through their behavior. They altered their timeline through transference, karmic transference, giving you what belonged to them, taking what is ultimately yours through psychically connecting with you, meditation, and then also showing up, trying to be in your energy for the purpose of getting close to you to do this. So for some of you, I'm even hearing that whoever you're thinking about, this person, their intentions right from the beginning might have not been right. They might have led you to think that there was some kind of level of intimacy or friendship, but from the very beginning you were being targeted by them because they saw what you had, because this is a person who gets energy. I'm going to tell you again, because this solitary attacks, using meditation and visualization to psychically attack you, this is a person who knows how to manipulate energy. And if they know how to manipulate energy, you'd be surprised how many people have gifts that they will never tell you about, that they use nefariously. You'd be surprised how many people can see who you are, can read your aura, can see your resources, and will never ever fucking tell you. In fact, they'll befriend you, and then they'll go on a campaign to in some way make you feel like you are less than, in order to open you up within the confines of trusting them, so that they can begin to take from you. Okay, these are the beings who also like to put you through trauma, or be the ones who are behind, like the puppet masters of some of your trauma. I'll never forget that this woman who I'm talking about, she had an opportunity to tell me something that was really important, that she knew would have been like traumatizing to me, but instead of doing it in private, she waited until a few days later, having had the information, and chose to tell me in a public environment where it was almost like it was a ritual, like a humiliation ritual, kind of. Not like an overt one. I've been part of more overt ones, but it's like, and it was on a full moon too, like these people, they know what the fuck they're doing. Okay. Don't fall for their flattery. Silver tongue, twisted mind, closed heart. So this person may have been someone who had the gift for the gab, knew how to make you feel good, knew what it was that needed to be said, etc. If they've come back around in your reality now, and you have contact with them, for me, I just walk past like, this person wasn't a part of my new timelines, because they're not. But should you have the opportunity in any way to exchange communication with them, just be aware. Don't fall for the flattery. Okay, so what's coming out here is, anyway, this person has been blocking you. Those blocks are being removed through this timeline reshuffle. Okay, that's what I'm hearing. Okay, this is a past life nemesis keeping you out of your north node, was their mission. Yes? Marionette action. Puppetry. Okay, so this person, like I said to you, they would orchestrate things behind the scenes, or magnify things that were already happening for you. Okay, so this is the person who likes to be creating the drama behind the scenes to get you to react in a certain way, and then pretend like they know nothing about what's going on, and oftentimes run in to try to help you. Like I said, they threw the rocks, hit their hands, and arrived on the scene to help and rescue. Okay, so this is the last card I'll take. It says they like their darkness and woundedness, leave them alone. So this was partly what I was telling you about with the dark feminine energy and the dark feminine arts. This is also dealing with people. For some of you, this person And this could be more than one person, you know, this could be a myriad of people, because like I said, with timeline reshuffles and when the wheel of fortune is turning, what happens is when it's time for you to go to another level because your frequency has shifted, everywhere in your field where you had beings like in your energy that had kept you from getting to that level and you weren't aware, they will start to clear out of your fields. They'll clear out of your fields through dreams. They'll clear out of your fields through like real time. It's time for them to move on, you know, and sometimes, especially the ones who have been in your field in some way, taking or siphoning, when it's time for you to move into the next level and they start to get released from your field because it's time for you to go, that's when they'll want to come back in. Because on some level they'll sense that whatever it was that was keeping them vital, keeping them going in some way, they sense that they no longer have access to it. So sometimes it's conscious because they're like looking at the energy and what you're doing, and other times it's just like unconscious, but they feel like the unplugging, and so they instantly try to come and get themselves plugged back in. I've had that happen to me this week with other people too. It's like when it's time to close a chapter and to move to the next level, all of those beings that have been hiding in your energy that didn't want you to get to that chapter to begin with, they start to emerge and they start to want to find a way to hold on to you, to keep you back. It's purely energetic, but it has an effect in how your timelines play out. And also be very, very aware that we are in a season of judgment and justice. And so many energies, entities, beings, you know, take it as it resonates. They are being kicked out of people's fields. And they will do and try everything to stay attached. So just be aware of that right now. Yeah. Ghost people. Faceless Ghost and the Haunted Girl. Number 34. So this is the card that also speaks about beings who, it's almost like they remain ghost in your fields. You know, like in very real ways, they might even in present time, they might linger in your energy, but this I'm feeling more like it's like to do with those beings who in some way they've stayed stuck in your energy field because there was something that had to come into resolution. There was something that had to be resolved, and through this window there's some kind of resolution coming. And the resolution that's ultimately coming is that as you rise into a higher frequency, what was keeping you, this ghost energy that was lingering in your fields, it has to let up. It has to give you whatever false claim it had over you. It has to relinquish that. Yes, and even with this coming out beautiful, we have Amara, the Minahu, Aloha healing. Okay, so this is deep healing. This is deep emotional healing. Maybe a lot of what it is you've been going through. 19 is also a card of solar alignment, which means for some of you, this being has literally been taking your solar codes. Maybe for as long as you've known them, your solar codes. And even as I say that, I think about this person who showed up in my reality. And a few years ago, she was in a dream, very specifically about my birthday. And now I'm beginning to recognize and see a little bit more what exactly was going on. But it really does feel like whatever you're letting go of, this might have been a person who had their claws in your solar return codes, the solar codes you get every year in order to flourish and build yourself off of. Now, for them to have access to your solar codes, it probably means in some way you might have celebrated that with them at some point. They would have had to know what your solar return was. And again, you didn't have to celebrate it, because some of these beings they're nosy as fuck. They run your astro. They ask you your birthday. They pick up. They run your astrological chart. They send that information off to other beings, you know. But either way, this person was, it feels like, fucking around with not only solar codes, but your north node. Didn't we have that come out? Yes, this is a past life nemesis keeping you out of your north node is their mission. This person may have shown up in your reality for your nodal return. So look to your chart at where your north node is and see the last time your north node was in that position, and that might for some of you correlate with the dates that this person entered into your reality and was in your life. And that might be because in some cases these people, again, they study you, they research you, they want to do things at very specific transits, etc. They want to be there around you. Some of these people are like put in your path because other beings are attacking you, and they're a part of that too. And then they're supposed to be the being that you're next to, who, you know, you're going through all the attacks, but you're the person that they're trusting and pouring your soul out to, and all of that stuff. And being the whole time, they're part of the, because that was another card that was being shown, the Covenant Secret Society. They're linked to that too. Okay, dried flower fairy, sweet memories. Okay, so this is again showing me this is a past scenario. Okay, it's number 11. There's some kind of gateway that's open. There's some kind of gateway, and what I mean when I say gateway, there's some kind of gateway that's open to the previous timeline where you were harvested. That gateway is opening again to give you back what is yours. Okay, we have Strange Valentine. Love is strange. So this again is speaking to me about how this relationship was probably someone who you had an intimate connection with, whether it was platonic or romantic, or whether it was like a love triangle scenario where someone was like messing around with your relationships with other people in some way. But either way, this is like a showing me that there was some huge relational distortion that was going on here. And you may have had a lot of love for this person, but they are not who you thought they were. Okay? I don't want to keep this going too late because I have another reading I want to get into. Let's see what came up here. Distant horizons. I love it. Distant horizons. So in some ways you are completely letting go. You're completely letting go of this. Any way you've been binded to this across time. You're being released. And again, this is a past, this is not something, yeah, you might have actually been lovers with this person in another lifetime. You may have been lovers with them in this scenario. They may have tried to get in between you and someone who you had this kind of divine contract with. Take it as it resonates. We have bad health. Okay, so if you've been going through that as a result of karmic transference, that could shift, and the health that is yours can come back, and what is ultimately theirs can go back to them now too, as well as disruptions to your occupation, disruptions to any judicial processes, okay, where you've been dealing with things that you know aren't supposed to be yours in certain timelines. You can prepare for that to begin to shift. And this is going to be over, I keep on, where was it? I was pulling cards earlier on today, and I was getting a distinctive message about what's happening now. Yeah, between now and the new moon in Pisces next year, and then the full moon in Gemini this year in December is going to be big. So there are some key dates that are happening. This isn't coming out in this reading directly, but I am being brought back to it from earlier on today because I was shown that collectively it's going to have an effect on what it is that we're being prepared for. Let's put it that way. So December is a big month, as is February, March of next year, whenever we have the next eclipse. So I say that because you might be seeing shifts that are occurring from Sagittarius season through to Pisces. Wait a minute. Yeah, Sagittarius, full moon in Gemini, Sagittarius season through to Pisces season next year. Might see some of the things materially flipping back into order, okay? This person took your codes and was using them in some way. I know we've already said that, your solar code specifically, but it keeps coming up for me. At the bottom we do have the Knight of Cups. Okay, 1 second, we have some cards I've learned. Rue, that's for banishment. Calamus root, taking back your voice. Cloves, taking back your voice. Marigold, taking back your shine. I'm not going into the herbal deck right now. Okay, let's see. Overarching theme, the Fool. Yep, a whole new cycle, whole new era. Some of you, this is occurring because you're literally bouncing into your new earth timelines, and those old world stories and characters can't hold on to you anymore. Challenge, temperance. Okay? Challenge the temperance. This is letting things integrate and settle back. Okay? Don't try to be too, both ways, don't try to be too quick or demanding. Allow things to play out and for things to return the way they need to, but on the other hand, don't be too passive. You know, like I said to you before, a lot of what it is that's been taken from you, it's yours, but you haven't had access to it for years, maybe for decades, maybe this lifetime, and it's time for you to reacquaint yourself with those energies and start to let them to flow through you again in order to seal their return to you. Okay? What it is you need to be paying attention to, the 10 of Wands. Letting certain burdens go that never belonged to you in the first place. You see, a lot of the reason why beings can do these karmic transference rituals is because in some way you have something in your field that allows for it to stick. And this is why they like to get close to you, because they like to scan you for your weaknesses, scan you for your profile. They want to know how to psychologically probe you in order to do what it is they need to do. So one of the most powerful ways of breaking any and all forms of witchcraft isn't even breaking or reversing the spell. It's doing the shadow work and coming back into wholeness with self, so that when those energies try to re-enter your field, they can't stay there to begin with. When they start to be expelled from your fields because of the deep work you're doing. They have nowhere to hide or to come back and lodge themselves again, which is exactly why, like I said to you before, many of these beings are showing up in your timelines again. It's because you've graduated on some level, and that graduation is bringing you full circle, bringing the story and the timeline that you were with them full circle. Their karmic transference ritual, therefore, is coming full circle, and there is judgment that is being ruled on behalf of the closing out the cycles right now. I hope that makes sense. So, guidance, 5 of Swords. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and don't be afraid to be ruthless. That's what that 5 of Swords energy is. When people are trying to undermine you and you've done nothing to them, and worse of all, like they're trying to undermine you and usurp you in your own authority and sovereignty over self, you don't give those beings breaks. You get permission to play as dirty as they're playing, in the interest of taking back what is yours. And I'm not saying you stoop to levels where you're harming people. We don't do that. But I am saying that when people like to try to get you to play a fool in your own reality, then sometimes you play the fool to fool the fool who thinks they're fooling you. And in that might be seen as being playing dirty, but you do what you have to do to secure your wholeness back, even if it means playing other people just as well at the game that they've designed to try to bring you down for no reason. Okay? Okay. I think that's it. Alrighty, guys. I think I'm going to close it out now. I don't want to get into too much of a long drawn out reading. I've kind of just missed doing readings as opposed to doing a whole bunch of downloads. So I hope that this was helpful. If you would like a one-to-one soul recovery session with me or a divine alignment reading with me, for divine alignment readings you can contact me directly at solarahspeaks@proton.me. If you would like a 60 or a 90-minute soul recovery session, that information will be in the description box below. If you would like to sign up for your TAROTSTROLOGY Wealth Activations Code session with me, you can do that through the links below. All my decrees I've got a whole library of decrees for those of you who don't know. I'm no longer giving my decrees away for free. I did that for a whole year. My guidance now was to put a price on everything that I give out. Please know, though, that I'm not completely insensitive to what people are going through, and if there is a very real need and there's a decree that I put out that you really feel that you need and you can't afford the price of, sometimes it's as low as a cup of coffee or 2 cups of coffee to pay for my value. If you really are in a bind but you feel like you need it, please don't hesitate to email me and let me know that. Okay? Alrighty. Yes, I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you for all your love and your support, and thank you again to the beautiful soul who gifted me with these. It really helped me tonight to be able to tune into my own psychic space and tune out everything else that's been going on around me. So I really appreciate your love, your generosity, and your thinking about me in that way. Okay, so I will see you guys again soon. Until then.